The April numbers are in Belleville, Quinte West, and Prince Edward County. Inventory remains high. Sales volume is still suppressed in most areas, continuing downward pressure on prices. But the pace of change is starting to shift just slightly compared to earlier this year. Starting with Belleville, there were 70 sales in the month of April, down 20.5% from last year. Active listings climbed to 345, up 21.1% from last year. Median price fell 5.5%, now sitting at about $515,000, and months of inventory climbed to 4.93, up 68% from the same time last year. Belleville continues the same pattern we've seen throughout 2026. More listings hitting the market, more competition amongst sellers, fewer transactions happening, and more negotiating power shifted towards buyers. Inventory in Belleville is building faster than it is in Quinte West and Prince Edward County. Quinte West remains more stable by comparison. There were 76 sales in the month of April, down just 3.6% from last year, and active listings are now sitting at 325, up 6.6% from last year. Median price actually rose from last April, up about 3.4%, sitting at about $533,000. Months of inventory increased to about 4.3 months, up 11% from last year. Inventory levels and time on market is still trending upwards in Quinte West, just at a slower rate than Belleville is. Transaction volume has held relatively steady, and pricing has been more resilient. That stability is largely tied to consistent needs-based demand, tied largely to military relocation, along with just less development happening in Quinte West compared to Belleville, contributing to a little bit lower inventory levels. Prince Edward County still continues to face the most pressure of the three markets. Sales for April came in at 39, up 5.4% from last year, but still historically low, and active listings climbed to 471, up 11.6% from last year. Median price fell 16%, coming in at $508,000, and months of inventory came in just over 12 months, up 6%. Inventory levels in Prince Edward County continue to run at 10-year highs, with us consistently having more than 12 months of inventory on the market. So even with this slight uptick in demand, supply still heavily outweighs demand for homes in the county. Well-priced, well-presented, unique properties are still moving in the county, but a large portion of the inventory is still sitting and still continuing to accumulate. Across the region, the trend is consistent. Inventory is elevated, sales volume remains below typical levels, and pricing remains under pressure in most segments. At the same time, activity this month may show some early signs of stabilization. More buyers and sellers are making decisions based on personal needs and timing, rather than broader market shifts and global conditions. As we head more into the warmer weather and into the spring market, the key variable here is demand. If more buyers enter the market and take some of that supply off the table, inventory levels could balance out. If not, elevated supply will continue to put downward pressure on prices. We'll continue to monitor this throughout the spring market and see how it plays out. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.